Hello everybody, this is Havoc and welcome back to Hollywood Animal. This is a game that I covered their demo, several months ago, basically, at this point when it first came out, and it was fantastic then, but it's got a bigger update and it's even more fantastic now. So if you want to support the channel in any way, shape, or form, you can do so by giving the video a like, subscribing to the channel, and leaving your comments in the comment section down below. Hollywood Animal is a Hollywood studio builder set in the 1930s, where you essentially take over a bankrupt studio and try to make it your own in the dawn of sound cinema. Now, there's lots of things going on here. I wouldn't say it's quite to the grand strategy level, but it is definitely strategy. It is simulation. In a way, it's kind of a city builder as you expand, but you also have to deal, I would say it's a large part, RPG elements, and as well as you're dealing with other people, you're managing them, actors, directors, composers, and the world around you. So let me give you a quick breakdown on everything that's going on thus far. So in this demo, there are it's a 2-year demo. Basically, you go through 2 years of the game, and we are in year 2, technically. We just hit year in 1930, and we have a lot going on. So, one, we're actually doing pretty decent, all things considered, sitting at just under $5 million with $4,300 in cash that we can use to bribe people or do certain things with. We do have quite a few influence points. These things can be used for speeding up research that we can do throughout our studio, to handling different events and being able to cater towards them, such as this lawsuit that's going on, where we have paid a little bit to increase our probability of success. Right now it's at half and half. How's it going, Nexus? Thanks for being my chief legal officer. And other things like that. And then depending on the success or failure of our films, and also just with events that go on, we gain or lose reputation. Currently right now, 55 reputation isn't awful, but it's not super fantastic either. So hopefully we're going to be continuing and building successful films so that way we can gain that reputation. And in fact, I do have a research that doubles the reputation from a successful film, so that should help quite a bit. Now, what else do we have going on? There's lots of things going on in the film world. Several film studios are releasing films consistently throughout the week. As you can see here, by we going into our map, there's a lot of stuff going on, and we currently have The Smell of Metal, which was our latest modern city American cop film, which is currently doing very, very well, by the way. But it is midway through, and you can see kind of the competition that we have to deal with here. Now, all things considered, we're not doing too bad in terms of studio accounts. Gerstein Brothers, we have already dealt with them once before. Unfortunately, they're ahead, but we'll see if we can't get there anyways. Now, next up, we've got a couple of objectives over here on the left side. We need to spend $500,000 with the Lukestruck construction over the next year, or we risk losing, they're going to sue us, basically. So, long story short, we had a contract that they said was valid. We don't consider it valid. So basically, for me, I'm going to be a really awesome, shifty studio manager, and I'm going to let that go out. We definitely are building things with them because they are the cheapest, but there's no way I'm hitting $500,000 worth of construction with them. So we're going to let this go to a lawsuit and hope that by the time we get to that point, we'll have better legal infrastructure set in place so I can win it a little easier. Otherwise, we'll be out 500 grand. Like, in the grand scheme of things, forcing $500,000 worth of construction over losing it, it's just not worth it to me. And then Wendy Carpenter is actually the governor's daughter, or the mayor of Los Angeles, I do believe. Let me double check that. Nope, that's not how I'm going to do it. I can't remember how we get to those, but regardless, she wants to be in a movie. She's 18 years old, so I was like, you know what? I will do that as a favor to the mayor. See if we can't get in nice and good. There should be more of those coming in today, in today's episode, from like a police officer, chief who wants to give a better view of cops as a whole in movies, to other people such as that. The main things about our studios, we're currently writing 2 very nice scripts. We've got 1 in production. This is going to be Project Alpha, which I don't have a name for yet. It may stay Project Alpha, and in fact, it is due to flop terribly. I'm actually terrified of this movie. We've invested so much in it, and it's gonna flop hard. But as you can see, The Smell of Metal has actually done very, very well, and it's only on week 5. We are going to extend it just a little bit, I think. It'll run its course, and then we'll be done with it, actually, which is just fine with me. Now, we do have a rather large studio that is comprised of a lot of people. You can see the ethnic breakdown of everyone. Now, I will say, ladies and gentlemen, that this studio, Weappy themselves, the developers and slash publisher, they say in the beginning, whenever you boot up this demo, that they are trying to stick to the historical representation of the time, which does mean there's a heavy amount of misogynistic stuff. There's a lot of racism in here. And in fact, within this demo, I've already fired a dude because of his blatant racism. So you can play that how you want. I just want to say that nice to see that they aren't shying away with it, because basically they said that, hey, if we shy away from it and we don't include it, it'll be like it never happened. And we want to make sure that get that representation. So anyways, we do have a lot of actors. We have Keanu Reeves, which, by the way, if I can find the screenshot, I unknowingly did this, but Keanu Reeves, because he looks like Keanu Reeves, there's actually an event happened where he shot his dog, his neighbor's dog, which I do find a huge sense of irony in that Keanu Reeves shot his neighbor's dog. But regardless, he would never do that in real life. But we have tons and tons of staff, and hopefully they are going to work to make sure that we are as profitable as possible. And so we do have a couple of scripts that we're going to get working on. We're going to try and include Wendy Carpenter in one of those because we really need her within the next 2 years, and I need to make sure that that happens sooner rather than later. Head of Services got some things as well. That's really good. They Asked No Questions actually got a really, really solid rating. This is our thriller, adventure, romance drama set in the Wild West with our cowboy, our sidekick, and a love triangle. Yeah, I'm wondering if we have the people to handle this. We should actually. Let's go ahead and start the project. All right, so the first things we need to do is we need to set up a cinematographer. Now, one of the things you also want to try and do is you want to try and match the quality of the video as much as possible. So we're going to use Thomas Morrison. Unfortunately, he's a drug addict. Hopefully that doesn't affect things. It doesn't look like it will, which is great. We can add our soundstage and then determine what we want. So for instance, the desert, let's do the Wild West interiors inside. And you can see that it requires less time and less money. And in fact, we're going to go ahead and do those three. Make sure the mountains, the forest, and the desert are actually on location so it looks really good. That'll reduce the time a little bit. We saved about 15 grand, so that's not bad whatsoever. We only have one film. It's the Doppler technology, and we only have one recording sound. That's the sonotone. We are going to go ahead. I always like doing extras because it's simple and, I mean, only $3,500. Yeah, overall, it doesn't add a lot to it, and it ensures that we have plenty of extras in crew. And then this is the fun part where we get to choose who we want to have everyone in. We can do Roy Spencer. He's our only option. We do have our director, which would be Anthony Campbell or Chris. We're going to go with Anthony Campbell. And then this is where we get to have some real good fun. So for instance, Keanu Reeves has already been a cowboy, right? And so we're going to go ahead and put him in there because he fits the role. He's got a really solid rating that should bring this rating up, and we should be good there. The sidekick, this is where we're going to put Wendy Carpenter in. Not a monkey that read line in front of a camera. Every artist needs the creative support of other professionals. I'm not acting with Wendy Carpenter. I don't care whose daughter she is. That's a little conceited, Keanu Reeves, and I don't know that you would do that. We could negotiate with him. We're gonna negotiate with him. All right, so here's the cool thing, is that one, he doesn't want to work with an amateur actress. I get it, it sucks, that's the way it is. We could pay a ton of money, or looks like Keanu Reeves has a dark, dark past. And so we're gonna use that as leverage, and we're actually gonna force him, we're gonna use that to be like, hey, you're gonna do it. And he will, of course, accept it. Now, I really, really hope it doesn't bring the film down. If it does, then so be it, but this is probably one of the best roles that she can be in with a relatively star-studded film production company, and we'll be okay. Criminal Mastermind, we could definitely do someone who's a bit older. So that's either Russell Simmons or Gabriel Rukowski. And if we look, we can see that he's already been a criminal mastermind a little while back. So we're definitely going to throw him in there because he still meets that criteria as well. All right, so pre-production will take 26 days. We're going to take 98 days in production as well. Cost of pre-production is $83,000. The cost of filming is $346,000 for a total of about $430,000, which is actually pretty on par. We're going to go ahead and do our stamp of approval, and we're going to go ahead and start that project. And as you see, it's in the first pre-production stage. Ooh, we got another script. Awesome. However, I'm not quite ready for this, so we're definitely going to shelve that project for now. All right, so this is Ted Duvall versus Havoc Studios. Basically, Joe Duvall, it was an actor at the beginning of the studio, at the beginning of the demo, where he died during filming, and his parents basically want all of the money from it. Now, we tried getting away with it, and we got found out. So that's just the cost of doing business. I didn't feel like these drug addict family really needed any more money than what they already had because of his success, so I tried to get away with it. Is it going to work? I don't know. We got a 50% chance of that happening. If we lose $1 million, which is quite a bit. But we're going to go ahead and finish preparation. There's nothing else we can do. And I lost. All right, so I have to pay out $1 million, which does suck, but it is what it is. The Los Angeles Tribune published the text underlined Duvall's triumph. In it, Ted Duvall portrayed as the hero who stood up to a greedy film company and won. The article refers to heads of the film studios thieving nobodies and crooks. So we did also lose reputation on top of that. It is what it is. Cost of doing business. All right, cool. So now we can see here that the extended view of the smell of metal actually lost us a little bit of money at the very, very end. So we're definitely not extending that. However, we did gross $1.3 million, so I'm not going to complain. It did pretty darn well. We get 15 reputation back because it was a profitable film, and we are going to send that to the archives. All right, where does Arthur Gernstein is furious after the success of The Smell of Metal. To spite you, he tried to lure Keanu Reeves over to the Gerstein brothers. Nobody knows what he proposed, but the deal fell through. Gerstein promised he'd get even with the actor. Wouldn't take it as an idle threat, could get a lot uglier. Can you imagine a jealous bastard he is? Let's quickly assign a strong guy to security services. Yep, and so we have that ability. Sweet, we made our money. Let's head over to No Nodder Casting Office. Where is my security? There's my security. So what we're going to do is we're going to provide protection for Mr. Keanu Reeves. We do have a level 3 agent, which unfortunately only has a 31% chance of success, but we're going to have to roll with it. We're going to begin that protection and hope that it does well. Otherwise, Keanu Reeves may get a little beat up, and he is actually currently in filming, so that would be pretty detrimental. All right, cool. Oh, very nice. We actually spent a little bit of time earlier in the demo to improve the quality of Doppler, which means now our quality makes a better film. And then speed up shooting, less likely to break down. Let's go to our technologies. And it looks like we could still do it. For 300 buckaroonies, do we want to do practicality or economy? Economical technologies are cheaper, all other things being equal. I think I'd rather speed up shooting, because that'll save me money in the long run anyways. Okay, Project Alpha is ready. Can I rename it? I don't think I can. Hey, look at that, though. We at least went up a little bit in our post-production, which wasn't hard to do. All right, it looks like Project Alpha is its name, which is hilarious. I thought I could rename it before the end of this, but it doesn't look like I can. That's fantastic. Project Alpha it is. What is this one again? This is an action thriller fantasy kingdom with a knight, an evil witch, a damsel in distress, wins the beloved, and the antagonist gets killed. Very nice, I'll take it. Let's go with this one. This one's creepy looking. And now we're gonna send it to distribution. All right, we know from just playing that it's gonna take 6 weeks to make all of the films. I'm not spending the extra money to speed that up. So if we go 2, 3, 4, 5, this is the earliest that we could drop it in there. And so this is a terrible film. Like, this is absolutely awful, but we do need to try and make as much money back as we can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop in, what do we got? I'm going to drop in 2,000 for those guys, and I'm going to drop in 3,000 of my own screens, because I do own a number of screens, which doesn't cost me anything. We're going to keep with that this whole time, and we're going to try to at least make a profit with this. I don't know if it'll happen. We don't want 15,000. We want 1,500 for that last week. And we're going to try and squeeze every dime that we can out of this lackluster film. And if it does fantastic, then so be it, but I don't see it happening. All right, cool. So it is going to cost an additional 138,000, which means total this is going to be an almost $1 million movie, which is atrocious. It sucks. We are going to lose money on this no matter what. And then again, yeah, it's going to take 6 weeks. We're not investing heavily in this. We're simply going to apply that. And then one of the cool things we get to then do is we get to select our advertising campaign. And we want to make sure that our advertising campaign is relatively short, because we basically pay 10,000 bucks a week. Oh, that's right. So the previous agency hired a company for it. We're going to go for adults only, and that's going to rock there. All right, cool. So if that's the case, they've hired out. So let's go ahead and maximize it. That's not going to change how much it costs. Very cool. All right, we're going to confirm that. Ah, yes. David Gutman, he fell out of his apartment and crawled drunk through the middle of the street. We're going to take the hit on his behalf. He was one of the leading star in the film. So we're going to do that. We're going to apologize, take the hit, and we're going to release the film. Oh, Lordy. $867,000 is quite a bit of money. I'm not going to lie. And before we get to They Ask No Questions, we do want to start working on some ideas that might work a little bit better. I think we should try our hand at a comedy Modern American town with a clumsy oaf. Good hardness and perseverance. We need a family film, without a doubt. Frank Stone is only a 2-star. That's as high as he can go. We're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to hope that he can do something great with it. We already released one with a knight, so we don't need another knight. We could go... I don't think that would succeed. Not at all. A drama, Tropical Island, The Cop. I need a thriller. What do I need? I need an adventure, action, or a thriller film because they resonate with that well. Here we go. This is an action, fantasy kingdom, daring adventure. Can't imagine life without his secrets and peril. We're going to have Bernard Larson start writing that. An adventure, Wild West Cop. We're going to have Felix Hill work on that. And then we do have a hopeless, romantic, modern American town thriller, which Walter West does as well. Now, we could make our own if we wanted to, and we do have a handful in here, such as Rotten Fates, which I think would be really, really good, but we need to save that for Keanu Reeves in a higher class of people. So we do have already on repeat. Let's go ahead and start that because that has a clumsy oaf. We need to have a family film without a doubt. All right, we don't have enough people in pre-production, but we can hire a cast and a producer as well. So we're gonna get Harry Ray. We are gonna do a level 2 soundstage as well because that is available to us. Let's go all of those. Town Square can be on location. That way we keep things a little bit low cost and production won't take as long. Filming tech with our quality improvement. Overall, not too shabby. This is a relatively low film. All right, Jay Patterson. I want to try and negotiate Jay Patterson just for a little bit. 351 until the end of the project. 35 grand just for the film. That's an easy yes. He's a solid producer that should enhance the script. Chris, still doing well. The clumsy oaf. Let's hire a dude. All right, so we need someone who's a pretty decently star-studded that isn't an egotistical idiot, which is hard to find in this world. Misogynist, like doesn't think of people as or women as real people. Like, really, dude? Come on. This perfectionist may actually help us in terms of being low cost. Let's go with Jimmy Pinkin. All right, he thinks pretty highly of himself, but one of the cool things we can do is we can offer things like extended medical coverage. And I'm going to go ahead and give him a Chronos watch as well. That's going to give us a little bit of leverage. And it's only going to cost $13,500 to hire him for the film. That's not too bad. There we go. Now his rival, that can be a pretty easy one. We're going to go ahead and put David Gutman in here. He may make for a really solid rival as well. And then the criminal mastermind, we're going to drop our big boy Russell Simmons into here. And all of this overall should enhance the film as a whole. Now, one of the things we can do, for instance, is David Gutman isn't very happy, Gutman. We can increase his happiness by gifting him a nice little Silver Moon Chronos watch, which will increase his loyalty as well as his happiness. I'm going to go ahead and give him 2. There we go. That may make him really, really happy. And a happy film crew is something that is very, very crucial in terms of success. So we're going to go ahead and give Jay Patterson a gift as well. Really just make everyone super duper happy with how things are going. And then Jimmy Pinkin, welcome to the show. Hopefully you'll make for a good team. This is one of the most low-cost films we had, and I'm super excited for it. All right, now we have They Ask No Questions is done with pre-production. And it looks like this stayed the same for the general audience, but for the specialized audience, it did go down just a little bit. The reason being the cinematographer didn't jive well. Producers, locations, and costumes and prop didn't. It is what it is. We're just, again, starting out. It's our first year. And so what we can do here now is we can set the filming schedule. We could, in the future, determine this and say, hey, it's 6 days a week, 18-hour days or something like that. And we can also say, hey, in the future, only cut the crucial scenes and do minimum retakes. So we can add security. I'm going to go ahead and add Jimmy Walker into this just in case. And we're going to set that on to production where we can see where it's going. All right, Project Alpha has 40 days until its release. Awesome. So we just finished the construction of our sets and props, which creates better sets, costumes, and props. So that's really, really nice. In the future, that should help with other films going forward, which will be fantastic. And then unfortunately, Nexus and Radis, I did have to fire you both because your salaries were flipping outrageous. Yes, you have 5 years of seniority, but my friend, like, I could get a dude with 2 years for $543 a month instead of $9,000. Sorry, bucko. I'm going to have to do that. Nope, I don't want to fire him immediately. It probably takes a little bit of longer time for sure, but you know what? I don't care. I have to. I have to. You're killing me. You're bankrupting the entire thing. And then one of the really cool elements of this whole game is the fact of researching tech and different upgrades throughout every type of building. So for instance, in our services, where we hire people or make the lives of our actors better, we can go things like getting gifts, which increase in size, in quantity, in price, and all of that stuff. Or we can offer different services. So I've extended medical coverage. I just unlocked a car and a driver. Anytime, anywhere is where you can go. A luxury car and a chauffeur. I don't know if that's necessarily worth it or if we'd rather go down to a hotel suite or even a housekeeper. Let's go down to a hotel suite. And we have enough here where we can boost the production using our influence points to push that upgrade a little bit faster. And here we go. This is one of those things I was talking about. The Los Angeles Police Chief, Peter Lambert, essentially says that, hey, in films with cops, they're always just big, dumb goofballs and they can't do anything and they trip over themselves, etc., etc. He wants to release a quality film that really showcases what the police are about, which is integrity. Well, try to show the integrity and the better side of things. So we're going to go and do that. Yeah, we'll release the film within 2 years. The film's artistic appeal must be at least 4. We're going to go ahead and do the film within 2 years. Be the first real film about us, about the police. And so as a result, we actually get a new story element, which is heroes in uniform. Police officers, firefighters, or rescue workers demonstrate ostentatious heroism, flagrantly risking themselves to save others. So we need to definitely do that within 2 years. Heck yes. We're going to continue the protection of Keanu Reeves because I just don't know when that's going to happen. And then here we go. Thrilling Crimes published shocking photos of the deceased Ted Duvall and his 2 sisters, father and aunts of the famous actor Joe Duvall. Police found their bodies in the swimming pool of their country house. They believe the cause of death to have been low-quality heroin. Well, I'm being a dirty rich and thieving studio director without a doubt, but I can also tell you, I told you so. So that money went to waste. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. That's what you get. All right, we already have our first hiccup, and this is on repeat. This is the one we just put on with our clumsy oaf and our criminal mastermind. Jimmy Pinkins says a stage fight would be ineffective and the whole thing should be filmed for real. He wants to fight Russell Simmons without using stand-ins. If I do a staged fight, Jimmy Pinkins' loyalty decreases by 30, but Russell Simmons' happiness will increase by 20. If I let them fight for real, it's a higher quality film. Jimmy Pinkins' loyalty will increase by 20, but Russell Simmons' happiness will decrease by 30. We're going to have to let them fight for real. I think that's absolutely hilarious. All right, so David Gutman in Project Alpha, we can add a tagline. And I'm going to say, just the beginning. It's an inside joke for if you don't know. Anyways, release the film and let's see how it does. On Repeat has already suffered another thing. During their very real fist fight, Jimmy Pinkins broke his co-star's cheekbone. Oh, crap. Okay, well, as a result, we have to stop filming for 15 days. That's a lot of days, my word. All right, the Kino mark is basically how successful or how well everything jives. Yes, this is bad. This is real bad. I would be surprised if we make any money off of this at all. Thankfully, they were able to get some experience out of it. But yeah, this is an $867,000 film. Oof. Fingers crossed it does well, but I don't see it doing well at all. Well, looky here. There was an attempted beating on Keanu Reeves. Some thugs tried to beat him up, but security agent managed to protect him. Well done, Ricky Robertson. Well done. From Go Figure, the Gerstein brothers. Not surprised in the least, but I'm glad we added protection nonetheless. All right, so first week you're out, $175,000 isn't too bad, but even at that price, we're not coming close to breaking even. And again, another one of the cool things in our marketing and distribution department is we can do marketing and outreach and do things like have an actor visit a hospice, visit an orphanage, visit a surprise wedding, or do aid for the homeless in order to boost sales. It's all very well and done. I'm super happy that we finally have hospice visit. An orphanage visit isn't too much longer, especially considering we could speed up production just a little bit. 5 days isn't going to make a difference. But we're going to go ahead and do that. And then we're going to move over to our analysis and statistics, which will allow us to be able to see the viewership projections and release schedules and everything like that, which should make us have better releases in the future. And then in even the larger future, we can open our own printing office where you can print duplicates of your films and have them print in shorter and shorter time for release. This is terrible. Okay, so at least we only lose $375,000 instead of 876. It almost grossed 500. We are going to let's set up. No, we're going to go ahead and end the distribution, I think. Yeah, there's just nothing there. There was nothing there. There never was. Failed project. We get a lower reputation because of it. We're running low on money, but it's okay. What's not okay is they ask no questions is kind of stuck. Director wants to set a horse on fire, but the whole crew is horrified. Yeah, there's no way. That's fine. Lower quality film. We're not setting a horse on fire. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Not doing it whatsoever. Nope, we're still good. Okay, so we are still now on time. We're still on, everything's planned differently. The difference between the projected and actual filming cost. Okay, this isn't all set up yet. So on average, yeah, we're right on par schedule-wise as well as our finances. No big deal there. And here we go. This is a really good example of the sort of racism that I was talking about. I went to Africa once. Don't remember much about the country, but you know what stuck with me? I'm not reading the rest because it's actually pretty daggum vulgar. Again, I totally understand the studio wanting to do it and putting it in here, and I support that decision, but I'm not going to read it because it like actually makes me furious. So this composer basically says that Africans are far inferior to white people, and so he wants us to get rid of all the black people. Like, long story short. And yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to fire Louis Murphy because I ain't tolerating that garbage. I don't care what the era is. And then, to drag our name through the dirt even more, spoke with a correspondent for the Sword of Christ newspaper about his dismissal. The Lord created us in his own image and likeness, so the people I had to deal with were created in the image of some other dirty and stinking God. Yeah, no, it's definitely just dragging our name through the dirt even more. And then, a very interesting thing, Roy Spencer is the producer of They Ask No Questions. There is a long kiss in the film on a collapsing bridge. It's a dangerous stunt, very complicated. But their current boyo over here is a little bit hand grabby, if you know what I mean. And so this is the film They Ask No Questions with the mayor's daughter. Now, one of the conditions he asks is that we not put her in anything raunchy or lewd or anything like that. So we can either film it and hope for the best, or we could take a 30-day hit and wait for the stuntman to get out of France, the other backup stuntman. So we're going to have to do that because I'm not risking it with the mayor. There's nothing that can convince me to do that. And then one of the bigger things that we can do, as I mentioned earlier, is that we can make our own scripts. Yeah, we're not going to work on story elements right now. We're going to work on a script. All of this are all the ones that we have that we could use. And they're all decent ratings, except for paint-colored petals. We're not doing that one. But anyways, we can craft our own ideas. Actually, I can craft my own in the story workshop. All right, we're going to name this one Beverly Hills. Beverly Hill Cop. This is going to be an action-adventure movie. A little more action than adventure. It's going to be in the modern American city. And this is where we get to do our heroes in action. Under themes and events, we can go down to heroes in uniform. We're going to have a cop. The antagonist is going to be, I'm going to do a serial killer here, and we're actually going to make it female. Supporting actors here, we're going to have a mentor that's going to be a really good supporting character. And under the finale, what we're going to do is the antagonist, we're going to say the antagonist gets killed. All of this to create a really positive experience. Actually, no, we're going to do the antagonist gets punished, I think. Make it a little more family friendly. No, forget it. Antagonist gets killed, 100%. Now, this is an adventure action, so we're going to have Bernard Larson make it. He's going to take 53 days to do so, and hopefully he creates a quality film while doing it. All right, so on repeat is our thriller adventure comedy. So again, we're going to push it out 6 weeks. And this one actually has decently high ratings, so I do want to push quite a bit on this one, and the total amount isn't that bad at all. In fact, we're going to go 4,000 because I think we can afford to take a little bit of a risk here. And then we kind of push things towards the end there. We're going to go ahead and jump 3,000 there. We're going to do 2,500, 3,000 again, and then 3,000 again. Do 2,500 to start on that front as well. $239,000. It's only going to take 22 grand to get that running. And then we have our advertising campaign, and this one's going to be a little bit different because we have our own advertising to run. We're going to run it for 6 weeks. There we go. And now we have different people we can go with. The MBG, middle-aged and older people listen avidly to familiar reports. The Ross brothers select billboards all across the country. Vienne Pascal is magazine and radio programs, theater, cinema, and literature. Seems small, they're celebrated for their expertise, especially among intelligent young people. Or we can go with Spice Mice. Proven extremely popular among school children. The company has attempted to gather an older audience, but so far they've not been very successful. We're going to roll with the MBG, which is going to cost another 60 grand. And then we have a task that we can do. We have a hospice visit and an orphanage visit. So I can get Jimmy Pinkins to visit an orphanage. Oh, if you want to advertise a movie, buy a page. David Guthman will do that. And I actually think that Russell is also the same. It's ironic that we're having the oldest person visit a hospice, but it is what it is. There's no more tricks to be had here. And as you can see here, well, I went to go back. There are also dirty tricks we can do. Don't know what those are yet. They're not in the demo. But regardless, I think that'll help. And let's see what it does. They Ask No Questions is finally, oh my word, that's great. Finally wrapped up, and it's actually improved by quite a bit. Despite all the negatives that happened. Sweet, Beverly Hill Cop is actually a really big success. Already, 4.9 and 4.4. Thank you, Vernon Watson and Bernard Larson. We are going to shelve this one for the moment because I'm actually not sure who we have on set. Actually, let's go ahead and start it and see if we have enough. All right, so we're going to put Thomas Morrison in. He's the closest thing we got. City streets will probably be filmed on location. City interiors. I think we can afford to go a little higher quality with this one. Big significant increase. There's a good chance I am completely bankrupting myself with this, but it is what it is. Our cop is going to be Keanu Reeves. He just played a sheriff. The mentor is going to be someone a bit older, so let's actually go... We're going to have to go with Gabriel Rutkowski, excuse me. And then the serial killer is going to be none other than Jane Fisher. Damsel. Let's go ahead and give these people a little bit of happiness, because this is what buys happiness in this joint. We're going to make him a little bit better, considering that we made him take that hit in the last movie. And then also Jane Fisher as well. Let's not leave her out either. Oh, I did just give her one. Whoopsie daisy. That's fine. Everyone's relatively happy. Let's get to it. Nice. The trick worked. The hospital visit went very well, as did the orphanage visit. Jimmy Pinkin and on repeat. I said. Release the film. Hopefully it's a big success, because we could really use a success right now. A C ranking isn't too bad. Anonymous author is just too cowardly to say anything. $685,000 to produce it. Let's see how it goes. And then They Ask No Questions is ready for distribution, as well as Beverly Cop can move on to the next stage. Unfortunately, it did suffer a little bit. That's going to be actors. That's going to be all sorts of stuff. They Ask No Questions. We're going to put her in there. And then we're going to have Keanu Reeves do an orphanage visit. Beverly Hills Cop went down a good amount of points in the specialized audience, but otherwise it's doing okay. Didn't like any of those things, which is what I figured would happen. However, in just 2 weeks, On Repeat has actually done very, very well. We'll at least make a decent amount of money off of them, if anything. Gabriel Rutkowski was in an accident. He escaped with minor injuries, but won't be able to work. We're going to go ahead and wait for him to recover. That's an obvious statement. And On Repeat is officially in the positive. There we go. We at least made 94 grand. But yeah, no, that fell real hard. So we're just going to have to go in distribution. Didn't do too well. Man, we really need a good hit, because we're starting to run a little bit low on money. And we got our house made. Very nice. The trick worked. Keanu Reeves at the orphanage. Let's see how well They Ask No Questions does. They Ask No Questions. Just answers. B- isn't too bad. There we go. Vernon Watson is also leveled up, which means we can speed up as department head. We're going to go ahead and go there. 850 grand. Goodness gracious, I hope it goes well. All right, Fred Carpenter, the mayor of Los Angeles. Thought only women and children cried at movies. When I saw my princess on the big screen, gotta admit, burst into tears. Remarkable business you're in, isn't it? Never would have imagined. And now we have goodwill points with the mayor, which is what will happen with all of these other people as well. To earn GP, you can do favors for your friends. Absolutely. So for instance, we could help the mayor's nephew out by building 3 buildings with Cutterstone Company. We could tout the mayor's achievements if we wanted to by having billboards and stuff within our films. Or in the future, I can say, hey, an experienced lawyer, we're going to need one going up against Luxta. So it was well worth it no matter what happens. We just grossed $500,000 in the first week, so I would say They Ask No Questions is going to be a huge success. Continued success as well. Even more success in the third week. But it looks like Beverly Hill Cop is nothing but plagued with issues. He used to work as a fireman, easily kicks down the door. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to order a stronger door, and then he's going to hurt himself doing it. I know it happens because it's happened every time I've done it. There we go. Filming will stop for 10 days. We are way behind schedule. But thankfully, They Ask No Questions is going to redeem us. Oh man, they dropped off so fast. I'm going to set up the distribution here. I'm going to go ahead and extend it. And make the investment very minimum. All right, Luxta Constructions versus Havoc Studios. Let's do it. I can add extra legal protection. I got 50 influence points. And then I'm going to save those changes. And then I'm going to go over to here. I need an experienced lawyer for 6 months. I'm going to acquire that. Your courtroom defense will be handled by Fred Carpenter's lawyer, which will be great. And so, there we go. Chances of winning are 75%. Sweet. And again, nothing but issues. Keanu Reeves can't focus because a fortune teller predicted his imminent death. Find this fortune teller and make her repudiate the prediction. Absolutely. All right, and Ryan Doyle, who is a bootlegger, is asking for the same type of scenario. Basically, it's prohibition. Obviously, we're in the 30s. However, he'll pay me $300,000 to make a movie about just your ordinary American enjoying a nice cold beer and enjoying life. How hard can that be? So if you want to read it, you totally can. I'm not going to, but basically it says, release a film with this in mind, and we'll get to it. Absolutely. Clearly a businessman, not like these other idiots. And we get Alcohol, the Spirit of Freedom. True freedom is someone who isn't afraid to have a drink or two when he daggum feels like it. We're going to finish preparation. 75% chance of winning. I'm going to lose, aren't I? Nice, I prevailed. Very nice. Sweet, so I don't have to cough up $500,000. That's nice. I enjoyed that a lot. All right, They Ask No Questions did really solid overall. I'm not going to extend this. It's run its course. We're in 6th place. Yeah, let's go ahead and end distribution. We did profit $600,000 from it. We get positivity from the film. And there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end it right here. Now, there's a couple of things. One, we still have, well, it'll actually end pretty darn soon hereafter. Let's actually go ahead and go forward a little bit because I want to show you a cool thing that we get to do. Well, not a cool thing we get to do. One thing we have to do, but I enjoy the mechanic. All right, so at the end of every year, you actually have to pay corporate tax. Now, corporate tax is 11%. However, we lost nearly $1 million this last year, so we don't have to pay any, which is really, really nice. But if we were to look at the annual report, we could see the breakdown of everything that it cost. We spent $5 million in distribution. We spent a ton of money in other expenses and production costs. Utility costs were a bit outrageous. Salaries were a ton. General staff overall is over $1 million. We need to take a look at that. But script writers and everyone in between, services weren't too shabby. Building construction could have been a little bit better. And of course, legal stuff. Again, this hasn't been out yet, so it's fine. Nice. We don't have to worry about paying that though. And unfortunately, good Lord, they made $7.5 million from this. That is ridiculous. We didn't even come close. I think our most successful film barely made $1 million. None of our films reached critical acclaim. None of ours hit the fan favorites, although this was close. We do have a movie we could totally put in production with full release that I think would be a banger. No one received experience because none were the most successful. And with that, we are going to end it there. You can see our expanse in our studio as well as other story elements. Our most profitable film made $2.4 million, and we have all of these in between. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this look at Hollywood Animal and the extensive mechanics that it has. It's really, really fun. And also, you can play this demo right now. Releases on February 27th, so you still have some time to hang out, get things done, and also, if I remember correctly and should still be implemented, you can actually save your run for the full release, which is always a great move in my opinion. So basically, I will continue with Havoc Studios where we're at right here, and we can move forward as such for full release. If everything goes to plan, I should have a couple of guides for this on full release, so be on the lookout for that. And if you want to support this video or the channel in general, you can do so by giving the video a like, subbing, and of course, leaving your comments in the comment section. I highly recommend you at least go and give this game a wish list on Steam, as that does help the algorithm see it very, very well. And yeah, support this game. It's been a blast. I think you'll love it too. Go check it out. This is Havoc, and I'll see you in the next one.